Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I thought we could hang out together and put on some makeup. So recently I posted a collective haul from our month-long trip home and I have a lot of new goodies to play with. Not quite a full face to make a full face first impressions video, but I figured maybe it would be interesting to see me play with some makeup. And to be honest, I just really suck at intros, so why don't we go ahead and jump into the actual video. Okay, as we get started, I'll go ahead and say I started to put makeup on and I was like, wait, no, your camera's supposed to be on. Story of my life. So I have a primer on. I have my Hocus Pocus primer that I'm painting, which is not new. So I figured at least you're not missing anything interesting. And then I did prime my eyes with concealer and I have on brows already. I usually feel like my get ready with me's are so long, so I'm trying to cut down on some time. But today I really am excited to play with my Emeralds palette from Profusion. So pretty. This is what it looks like. Hopefully I'm not blinding you too bad. A lot of beautiful grungy greens tones. So yeah, as we get started, I also want to say please ignore what's going on the corner of my mouth. This is the result of wearing a mask, like a very tight sealed mask for 18 hours or more than 18 hours on our way home. I'm gonna go ahead and dip into these like grungy greens. That's what I've been waiting for. Yeah, unfortunately, I definitely am struggling with some sort of dermatitis on the outside of corner of my mouth. I've had this happen before where my skin gets irritated and then it gets like a little, almost like a rash kind of scenario, and it doesn't go away for a good bit of time. And it just takes some time to get my skin normalized. Not only that, but it's quite an adjustment climate-wise to come back from like 100% humidity in the south, and where we live it's so hot and humid, and I went from being like I'm typically I struggle with dry skin here in Sweden, and then in the US I was oily every day. Like anything I would put on my face would almost just like melt off immediately. It's definitely a combination of just skin irritation from a mask and then also just climate change, because it is so like already kind of chilly, like it's too cold for my liking, and then also it's like dry here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch into this darker shade and try to deepen up the outer corner of my eye. Also, like I'm working a lot more slowly than I would with some of my other palettes, because I don't know this palette at all yet, so I'm a little nervous as to like how it will perform. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm cautious and go kind of slow and make sure I work things up. So while I'm applying eyeshadow, I want everybody to, in the comments, let me know how y'all have been doing. I am like struggling to adjust to Sweden. I feel like poor Bo, he's already having to be back at work where I'm not back to work yet. So I'm like getting up with him in the mornings, most mornings, but there was a couple days where I was really proud of myself. We were getting up at like 6 or 7 a.m. and I felt like, okay, maybe I'm gonna be tired at a normal time. And then we've had a couple nights where I've literally just only been able to sleep a couple hours because for whatever reason I wake up in the middle of the night, or I'll take melatonin or something like that to help me sleep, and I'll be wide awake like no matter what. So I'm struggling to get my like sleep schedule back on track, and I'm really tired, but it's not the worst thing. I know it takes me a good probably like 2 weeks to like adjust to this kind of time change, but we've only been home a week now. Today, actually a week. So I figured I'll comment on these really quick. These were pretty powdery, but I do think that they like blended fine. Now I am gonna swatch maybe like these 4 shimmers here, just because I don't know which one I want to try. I went ahead and fluffed that green a lot on my just eye in general, because I think some of these might be a little bit more sheer and it might help to have a base coat under them. Okay, let's see if I can show you. This one here is the shade Gilded. It's a very like, really mostly gold. There's a slight green tint to it maybe. This one is that kind of red base green duochrome kind of thing. That is the shade Radioactive, and then we have Burst right beside it. That's more of like a bronzy kind of with a slight green undertone. And then this one here is Harlequin, and it is definitely like kind of more of a lime green shade. And actually the shade here, Radioactive, is giving me vibes of my Super Shock shadow in the shade Moonwalk. I think I will swatch this and a shade from Sparkling Pineapple all beside each other so that you can see what I'm talking about. They all seem to have that kind of red base with the green duochrome flip to it. So let's see if I can show you. Okay, I'm not sure how much it'll come across on camera. This one in the middle is from the Profusion palette, and it's not really as duochromy as I thought. In the pan, it looks like it's gonna be a strong duochrome, kind of like these, but it doesn't really do that much. So this one here is the Colourpop Moonwalk Shadow. Definitely has more of a green flip than this one, and then this one here is from the Sparkling Pineapple palette and from Too Faced, and it definitely has a strong red base to it. So I think what I want to do is kind of play. I know that I said I was just going to use this palette, but I almost want to go in with this first as a base, and then I kind of want to go over the top with Gilded, maybe in the center or maybe all over that. So I think I'm just going to play around for a minute and see what happens. So as I'm applying this shade Moonwalk, like I said, I'm curious to hear how everybody's doing, and are you back to work? Give me life updates. I know I need to sit down and film like a more in-depth life update. I won't lie at the moment, but I won't go into detail that I've been having a rough time lately, but it's a lot more than I could detail in this kind of video. So hopefully I'll have a chance to sit down and film something, kind of fill y'all guys in, because yeah, it's been a minute and I feel like I'm almost ready to sit down and talk about it. Okay, so this is just the shade Moonwalk from Colourpop, but I think now I'm gonna go in with this light shade Gilded here, and I'm gonna start and just try applying it to like the middle of my eye, but I may end up putting it all over my lid. We'll see. So my initial reaction to these like shimmers is that I think I like the matte formula more. The shimmers I almost wish were a little bit more high impact, a little bit more chunky, because I think without this Colourpop base, I wouldn't be getting this much of an effect. I think I like it a lot with the base, but yeah, I kind of wish it was a little bit more high impact without having to have like a cream base down, if that makes sense. I'm gonna go in and clean up these edges, just make sure everything kind of blends together, and then I will put on some lashes and we'll move on to the face. Actually, I think I'm gonna change my mind, and I think I'm just gonna wear mascara today. It's been a minute since I've just used mascara. I feel like I've been wearing lashes quite a bit because anytime I wear makeup, I'm typically filming and I tend to put on lashes, but I kind of just wanna, it's Friday, we're not going anywhere tonight. I kind of just wanna be relaxed and be able to wear my glasses later. So it's way easier if I don't have to take off my lashes to wear my glasses. So I think I'm gonna just go ahead and start on my face. All right, to make things easier to work on my face, I went ahead and pulled my hair back out of my face a little bit. I'm gonna be using my Makeup Forever Step 1 primer. This is like a pore filling kind of primer. I think I've only used this maybe a handful of times, probably less than 5. I'm guessing only once or twice. So I'm gonna see how I like this. Ooh, I like the initial apply. Yeah, it's thicker than I remembered it. I think I used it for the first time like a couple months ago. And I've been working on a lot of other primers, so I didn't get a chance to really use it. But right now, I'm not working on any pore filling primers in Project Pan, so I'm finally able to kind of play with some of my other ones. So this one is fun. Also, should I mention my nail polish or not? Yes, absolutely. This is a first impression. I painted my nails last night with my Nails Inc. Night Riders Street. This is from the Naked in Neon collection, and so far I'm absolutely in love. I didn't have to apply a white base underneath, which was shocking. I had one like neon nail polish in an orange color from China Glaze, and it's so finicky, it chips so quickly, and I have to wear a white base under it, and even then, if I don't paint them exactly the right way, it will be streaky. But this is 2 coats and it's completely opaque, and I probably could have stopped at 1 coat and it would have been pretty dang good. So I'm super impressed with that formula. I'm gonna use this because it's in a Project Pan, but this is just something that I'm trying to use up as like kind of like a spot corrector of sorts. Like I have some dark spots in my face from just sun exposure and that kind of thing. And so I'm just gonna apply this underneath, and then almost like you would use a concealer to help give extra coverage. And then we'll go in with my actual foundation. Okay, now for foundation, I was almost gonna go with the one that I wear when I film because I know it's pretty high coverage and looks like very good on camera, but I almost wanna switch it up and try this one. This one I just rolled into a Project Pan. This is my Dream Matte Mousse. I've used a ton of it, which is why I can't seem to declutter it, but from what I can remember, it's not the best, especially for like Sweden, and just my skin in general has changed a lot since I used to wear this. So I put it in my Graveyard Project Pan recently, and I kind of want to try it out again, and let's see if this is a train wreck or not. This could very well be a very bad train wreck. So I think what I'm gonna do is kind of like streak it on my face and then use my brush to kind of blend it out. We'll see. Yeah, it's so crumbly. I know that I remember the texture kind of always being like this. I know this is my oldest foundation, but like I feel like the texture's always been like this, always been a little bit finicky to work with. I need to figure out the best way to use this because I don't need it sitting around in my collection if I'm not going to use it. So let's see how this blends out. I know for sure that I just stuck my brush into the jar to try to get some more, and that was a mistake. It like just crumbled out. So let's see if this will work. Ugh, I don't know if you're able to see it on camera, but it like is lifting up the foundation here instead of like applying it to my skin better. That's annoying. Also, it does not match the rest of my body. I'm actually decently tanned at the moment, which is exciting. I might be the only person on the planet who's like not quite ready to let go of summer yet. I like feel like I didn't get all of my summer in. We only got summer, in my opinion, for like a month because we were only home for a month. And then we come back here and it's, like I said, cold, and I'm not okay with that. Summer is my absolute favorite month. So yeah, I'm a little stubborn, even though like I do love fall. I don't have an issue with fall. I don't know, I'm not ready to let go of summer just yet. All right, I'm gonna switch to a beauty blender or a Real Techniques sponge and just see if maybe this will help me like my skin better, because right now I freaking hate it. I feel like it's accentuating my pores, which sucks.
That's how I feel about this foundation.
Okay, let's see if concealer can save this a little bit. This was a recent concealer that I hauled from Urban Decay, the Naked Skin Concealer. It might be a smidge too light, so I have my one on Project Panning right here beside it, but I might end up mixing them. But I'm excited to try this out. I'm so excited. So let's see. Yeah, I think it's a smidge light, so I'm gonna go ahead and mix. Yeah, that's much closer to my actual like coloring at the moment, so we'll mix that in. Which kind of sucks. It kind of dampens the idea of like a first impressions because now it's a little tainted, but that's okay. At least I know that will make an excellent winter color, because let me tell you, I am usually pale. Like if anything I learned from going home and being home for a month, we were out at the pool and I was trying to just get a little sun every day, just a tad every day. One day I got so burnt. Luckily I had sunscreen on my face, but my back got blistered one day because I just realized, like I never realized how much I avoid the sun here and how 2 years without sun exposure will change your skin. And then going back and just getting like, I think we spent an hour in the sun and I tried to spend most of that time in the shade. It didn't matter. My back got blistered. Okay, so I've thought of another fun question. So also I'm sitting here and doing this makeup. I'm wondering if you're willing to share with me in the comments I know it's quarantine days or like Corona days, so not a lot of people are getting out, but did you do anything this summer that you really enjoyed? What was the best thing? Do you see this? Do you see? What the heck? What is that? Why is that happening? Oh my gosh. Did you do anything this summer that you really enjoyed? Let me know in the comments. I'm really curious. Now let me try to set this stuff down before it runs away on my face anymore, because this is nuts. I mean like I've typically had issues my whole like makeup wearing career with products sticking to my nose. Like that's always been a problem area, but I've never had issues on my cheeks, so that is crazy to me. So I'm gonna put a little bit of Fit Me just in my T-zone, and then I'm gonna dust the rest of my face with my mineral veil from Bare Minerals. All right, next up I'm gonna use my e.l.f. eyebrow kit for this little like contour shade. It's the powder shade in the kit. I'm gonna try to use that as a contour, although I might be a little too tan for it to look normal right now. We shall see. I'm not sure how it's looking on camera, but from what I can tell, it looks fine. It actually ends up looking warmer on my face than it does like in the pan. Maybe it's just the black packaging that makes it look super cool in undertone, but on my face it seems to be fine. All right, next up, bronzer. I'm so excited to try this out. This was a product that I hauled while I was home. The e.l.f. eyebrow kit I brought from my storage at home, so it's been a minute since I used it. But this guy I picked up from like Marshalls or TJ Maxx when I was home, and yeah, I'm so excited to try this. This is Tantric from Marc Jacobs. Okay, initial reaction was that it was a little more powdery than I thought it would be when I stuck my brush in. Seems like it's a little lighter than I expected it to be. In the pan, it looks like it's gonna be kind of like medium, almost maybe a little bit too dark for me, but then again, I do have a good bit of a tan right now, so it's, well, I think it's buildable, which is nice. It's building up fine. I guess I didn't know what to expect with a Marc Jacobs bronzer, so I almost thought it might be a little bit too pigmented. Also, this brush is like the one I tend to use for like very pigmented bronzers because it's a little more fluffy. This is actually the Real Techniques blush brush, but I think it's really good when you have bronzers that are a little bit more pigmented because it's a little more fluffy, so you don't tend to like lay down as much product immediately onto your face. It's a little bit easier to blend it out. Okay, first impression with this is that it looks really good. I really like the color of it. It's warm enough, but it's not too warm. I don't think it looks orange on my skin, so that's exciting. And of course, as always, I forgot to put down the cream item on my list in the beginning before I put my powder on. So if it lifts up that foundation on my cheek, we kind of already know it's having issues with it, so we'll try this. I think I might try to use my fingers and then on one side, and then I have like a Real Techniques like highlight one end, blush side one end sponge, and try to see it on the other one, just because I'm not quite sure what the best way is to apply this product yet. But yeah, how about we'll do this side with my finger since it was the problem side, and then this side we'll do with the sponge. And if I forgot to say, this is in the shade Fuego Flush. I thought it was such a fun orange color, and I really initially like the sheen that it has. Like, it's a very shiny blush, which I like is my favorite thing ever in life, or like are blushes that have like a little bit of like a satin sheen or a little bit of glow to your skin. So nice. And so I knew going into this that the reviews for this thing are that they are pretty light in pigment, although even my fingers picking at that pigment or picking at the foundation, sadly. But so I kind of knew to expect that it would be light. But I feel like I had to use a little bit more than even I expected to use, knowing that it was lightly pigmented. And can I just say that I'm sure it looks bad on camera too, but also in person, I hate the way my skin looks right now. Like, I feel like I never look this bad in person, and it's awful. Like, my skin looks gross. But you know, we're learning. It's part of growth. Maybe this will be the use that convinces me to declutter that foundation. Okay, this side with the blender, I like it. The only thing that bums me out about having to use a little sponge to apply it is that I know I lose a little bit of product, and when I pay $20 for a freaking blush, I want it, you know, I want it to last. I don't want to feel like I blow through it, and this thing is hella tiny. Like, I was not expecting it to be such a little pan. I'm hoping that it's deeper than it appears, but so far I really like the color. Even though it is orange, I think it's super like flattering, and I really like it. I'm super excited to have that in the fall this year. All right, let's keep going with the cream products. This is my Cruella highlight from Colourpop, and I just recently put this back into my Partners in Cream project. So I love this sponge to apply highlighter or Super Shock highlights. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this. And as I'm putting on highlight, I realized I probably shouldn't have brought it down over that problem area that I was having, but you know, again, I'm just not using all of my brain today, so it's probably even more noticeable that that foundation does not want to stick right there. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and work on my lower lash line. I think I might mix the two shades that I used. I know I only used 2 shades. Honestly, this brown shade, I didn't really buy the palette, obviously, for a brown shade. I bought it for these metallics and these, like, mostly these greens. These blue-based greens always give me, like, they scare me a little bit, but I do plan to try to use them eventually. But that's, honestly, I sadly admit that I kind of bought the palette for, like, the grungy greens in it, which is kind of ridiculous. I should stop doing that, but you know, we're all guilty of it at some point. And since I refuse to try to talk and put on mascara, I am gonna try out another product that I hauled, but I'll either speed through, I'll just cut to having the finished product on. But this is new, none of the other items are new, but yeah, I wanna try these out. My old pair of eyelash curlers pinched my eyelid occasionally, so I have high hopes that these will work a little bit better. These are from Japanesque. Okay, eyes are done. I really liked the new curler, although I did feel a slight pinch on my eyelid. I think that maybe it's just because I have aging eyelids, and that may happen with anything that I use, but I'm gonna go ahead and apply the lipstick in Mademoiselle from Fenty. I got a little sample here, and I'm gonna use it. Okay, I also went ahead and put just a touch of this lip gloss on top because I noticed that like the corners of my mouth looked extremely dry and I was wondering if it looked accentuated with the matte lipstick. So yeah, also the corners of my mouth, like they were already dry, so maybe I can't fault the foundation too much, but I feel like once I started to like put lipstick on and I like stopped and looked at my lips, they looked awful, like worse. So I don't know, maybe that foundation just needs to go. Maybe I'm gonna try to use it one more time and see if I have a different experience of it with different primers. Maybe if I go in with like a super hydrating primer, that I'll have a slightly different experience of it. But so far, it's already settling in my creases, which I kind of knew that it would. That was like one of my complaints with it back in the day. And then it like is breaking apart. It doesn't look that smooth, especially in my pores. Like I don't even struggle with pores up here, and I feel like I have them up here. I normally have them like here and down here, but like up here, no, that's not normal. So I guess to recap, this first impressions was a bit of a train wreck compared to ones that I normally post, but what can you do? I'm gonna post it. I'm gonna try to post it anyways and work on like not being a perfectionist, because that's something that I really struggle with. But yeah, not my best look. That's okay, I'm not going anywhere. So it's just me and you. Don't tell anybody. But that is it for today's video. Make sure you say hello in the comments. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.